video right here, I'm going to be talking about two things. I'm going to talk about how to raise worms and how to compost. And I use worms for both of them. But I made a video yesterday on my birthday, and I kind of walked around and showed different things that I like to do. Well, I had a subscriber ask me, they wanted to see how I did it, so that's what I'm gonna do today. Is I'm gonna show you, the subscriber, that asked me how I raise worms and how I compost, and hopefully this helps you out, man. And whoever else watches, I hope it helps you out too, because it's gonna be beneficial for everybody that watches this video. And it's very simple, it's easy, it's not hard at all. The only thing that's gonna be hard is starting. And anytime you start something, it's gonna be a little slow process, but once it starts, you're on the way, dude. Like, it's good, it's gonna happen. But I'm gonna show you how I got started and how I did it. But if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And if you are subscribed and you came back to watch the video, I appreciate you coming back to watch the video. So let me get out here outside and I'm gonna show you how I did it. My worm bed right here. All it is just a refrigerator is what it is. It came out of an old camper, and I turned it into a worm bed is what I did. And I'll tell you the reason why I use something long here in a minute, but this is what I used right here. All right, what I did was, I'm gonna open it up right here, show you the inside of it. Right here, there's all kinds of stuff in here right now, and that white stuff right there, something got into the insulation part and knocked it out down there, but it's all right. Right here, what I got in here is I got a little rake and I got an old knife. The old knife is so whenever I take and got, like, say like a big squash or something like that, you know what I'm saying, I can sit there and chop it up a little bit and make little pieces. But to get started making a worm bed, if you don't have anything else in here, what you do is you want to take, what I did was I took leaves, pine straw, like everything that you see right here, because I got, you know what I'm saying, I got woods out here, a whole lot of woods. So what I did was, is in the bottom, I took and laid a layer of leaves in there, is what I did. A nice good thick layer. And in the bottom, like when you go in the woods and you move the leaves like this right here, on the bottom of it, it'll have, let me get a little closer right here. In the bottom, when you move the leaves, it'll already have stuff that's like composted. You see that right there? It already looks kind of composty itself, instead of looking like this right here, a pile of leaves. Well, what you want to do is this right here. Get your pile of leaves and you put it down in the bottom, and then what's underneath of it, you want to take and put that on top of it. And then go, like say you got a garden or whatever, you want to take and put another layer of dirt on top of it. And then take and find you some more of the good compost right here that's already about half compost, and lay it on top. And then what you want to do is if you already got stuff, you already got vegetables in your yard, that you if you got a garden or whatever, you know, you got vegetables that you don't want, just go ahead and throw them in there. Throw them in one spot. Don't throw them everywhere, just throw them in one spot. Say you got some in the house, or you just ate or something, and you got like a salad with no ranch dressing, nothing like that on it, just straight salad of little pieces. Throw them in there, cover them up in the ground, you know what I'm saying, pull it back a little bit, cover it up in the ground. And what you do is let it kind of rot a little bit, and then you're on the way there. Just throw your worms in there, throw them close to where you got your pile of vegetables or anything that's compostable. Throw them right there where it's at, so they'll go down and eat it. And the thing I learned about worms is that whenever you're throwing old stuff in there, they don't actually eat the vegetable itself. They eat it whenever it starts rotting. So they're not going to eat it straight off the get-go. And I got a peach tree, as you can tell right here, I be throwing peaches in there. There's a peach seed right here, but they eat peaches. They'll pretty much eat anything as long as it's compostable. They won't eat plastic, you know, like that plastic right there. They won't eat that. They won't eat the water bottle I got in here. They won't eat none of that. They just straight eat stuff that's compostable, as in food, newspaper, stuff like that. But I feed mine food because it makes them grow bigger. And sometimes I'll put chicken food in there too. And that's pretty much it, man. I mean, it's as basic as it gets. And if you look at it right here on the side of the wall, you see where there's like a line? Well, that's where the dirt used to be at. And with all the worms in here, they have ate it down, and it has dropped. Like, at least an inch and a half. I mean, if you look over here, you can see it too, where it was built up. It was all piled up, where I had stuff all down here. You see where it dropped down? Well, here, it used to be a lot of food right here. It was like bananas and tomatoes and all kinds of stuff, and they've ate it down. You know, I mean, that's what they do. And if you look on the side, you'll see where they kind of move and they try to get out a little bit, but they won't get out. As long as they got food, they're not going to get out. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to stay in here. If they don't have food, they will leave. That's for sure. And if it ain't right, they will leave. But the things that you need inside of a worm bed is you need well ventilated, you need moisture, and you need food. And when you feed them, it's going to look nasty. You know, that's just what worms like. They like nice nastiness. They don't like something that looks pretty like we do. They want nastiness is what they want. And if you throw too much in there, it's going to rot and it's going to stink. You don't want to do that if you're starting out little, to start out small. That's all you need to do, is to start out real small. And when you're feeding them, right, what I learned, another thing I learned about red wigglers is that you put food over here in this area, and once they eat it up, you want to go over here to this area and put food in it, and then go back over here to this area, and then go over here to this area. You know, so kind of get them where they're going to do this right here, because they'll migrate. And once they migrate, once they go across the dirt right here, whatever's here, they'll eat it too. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to move to be able to get to the food over here, and then they got to move to get over here to the food. So everything in here is going to be ate up, instead of putting food here and keep putting food here and keep putting food here. You want to move it. You know what I'm saying? Always move it. And you have to clean it out too. It can't just always be dirty, because they poop in their dirt that they're eating. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. They're going to eat, they're going to poop, you're going to have to get it out. And their poop is toxic to them, so you're going to have to get that out. So if you're going to get it out, you want to take and put food in one area and leave it there, and then feed them again, so they'll all migrate over here. So you can take and leave this like it is, and then take over here and get this out. And if you look at my worm bed right here, you see where it looks like there's like pine straw and stuff right here, but then over here it just looks like plain dirt. Well, over here on this side, from about right here at this little thing right here, what I did was I took all that dirt out right there so I could use it, and I kept all that natural, because you don't want to take all the dirt out. You want to keep it still natural in there. You don't want to mess up what they got going in their little tunnels and stuff. So this is new dirt actually, and this is old dirt, and I don't know if you can tell by the way it looks, but that's how I do it. And another thing is, when you make a worm bed for red wigglers, most worms, like earthworms, garden worms you see out your yard or in your garden, or worms you pick up these stuff, what they do is they dig deep down into the ground. Red wigglers, they're different. They stay on top of the ground, and they just go across like this right here. They just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They don't dig real deep in the ground, so you don't really need something that's real deep or anything. And that's the reason why I got something long, so they can move around like this right here. And when you're starting off, the key to it is don't take and say you got like your little rake thing right here. You're gonna stick it down in the ground, and you want to see what they look like. You know, you want to see what's going on. Don't mess with it. In nature, nobody don't take and dig up the ground to see what the worms are doing. You have to leave it alone. You can't see them. You can't play with them. You can't see them or anything like that. They don't like vibrations. They don't want you to sit there and mess up their home and stuff like that. Just leave them alone. Leave them alone for like a good little while, like a year. But you're gonna have to feed them though. When you feed them, you can like pull up the dirt a little bit where they were at, and you can see down in there, and you can tell what's going on, see if they're repopulating. But that's how I got started, and that's what I do, and that's what I used right there. Was this right here. It was just a regular old little bitty refrigerator, and I gutted it and put dirt in there like I told you how I did it, and now I got me a worm bed, man. It's well established. Don't have to worry about worms no more, and that's pretty much what I did there. Here's my compost bins right here. I actually have 3 of them. I have this one, and this one. And the reason why I have 3 of them is because this reason right here. The first one right here is what I throw stuff in whenever it starts out. The second one is whenever it's starting to compost real good. You know, I take it out from here to restart again from last year. I put it in here, and then once it gets done, I'll take and throw it in here. And the process just keeps going over and over. Throw your good stuff in here, let it compost down, and once it starts composting down for next year, you start all over again, take that out, put it in this one, and then start that one all over again, take this one right here, take that out, put it in there, and just do the same process over and over. And what I did right here, I'll show you. Right here is just a pallet. I stuck a nail in it before it could move, but now it don't really move. It's got caught up in here. These are oak pallets. They're not pine pallets, they're oak pallets, because they've lasted a whole lot more longer. And inside here, I'm gonna show you, I don't have a whole lot of compost in here because I didn't make a garden and stuff like that. But what you do is, when you're composting, right, I got me this little bitty hoe right here. What you do is, if you look at it, let me move it a little bit right here. I can move this. I didn't want to move my worm bed too much because that's not what you want to do. I'm just gonna move it just a little bit so I can show you what it looks like under it. Well, under it, this is what it looks like right here. It looks really, 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 really nasty. And all the worms that's in here, they're kind of down there at the bottom. But to get started out composting, is what you do is you want leaves, and you want something that's green. You have to take and make, trying to explain it the best way I can, you need to be able to take and put a brown layer and then your green layer. Say like you got leaves and then your grass clippings, put them on top of it, and then leaves again, which is brown, dead matter, and then green, and just keep doing that. And then throw food on top of it, as in, for instance, like your tomatoes and squash. Just throw that in there, and the process will start. And the worms that's in here, they'll eat it, and other worms will get into it from out the ground, and you'll have all kind of other little microorganisms and ball bugs and centipedes and all kinds of stuff to get in there. But if you're going to use grass mats now, and it gets real hot whenever it takes and starts composting, and it'll run off whatever's in there. It might kill it too, so you got to be careful with grass clippings. But that's the way I did it. And right here on it, I put chicken wire. I put chicken wire around the bottom of it, and so it can hold the grass clippings, food, and everything that I put in there. And if I chop stuff up, it'll hold it all in there. And then once this right here starts composting, which I ain't got a whole lot in there this year, but I'll take it and I'll throw it in here. And in here, it's pretty much a finished product. I mean, it is. Let me get this little hoe thing right here. It's pretty much a finished product in here. I mean, she's ready to go. This is definitely ready to go right here. Everything you see in here is ready to go. I mean, it is 100% pretty much composted. I mean, that's what it'll look like after you keep throwing leaves and everything else in there. And that's very, very good dirt. And then in here, same thing. I got the same exact thing. As you can tell, I haven't really messed with it a whole lot. But this is fully finished right here. Let me move these leaves out of the way where you can see it. Now that is fully finished. That is what it's supposed to look like right there. That's all it is to it. The composting. And you just leave it there. I mean, you can't mess with it or anything. The only thing you want to mess with when you composting is this first one. You have to take and you have to turn it. You have to flip it. And for it to start generating compost, like the stuff that'll be right here on the sides, you want to take this and throw it to the middle. And the stuff that's on top, you want to flip it to the bottom. So whatever's on top that didn't get ate or didn't compost right, it'll be on the bottom. Stuff can get to it, and you just keep doing the same process. Just keep doing the same process over and over. And then once you get done with that, the next year, you take all this, throw it in here. Restart this one, take this one right here, and let it finish composting. The next year after that, pick this one up, throw it in this one. And this one's gonna be your end one. And then you repeat the process again. Take your old, throw it in here, start it again, take this one, throw it in here, just keep going. Just keep going over and over and over. And that's how simple it is, compost, man. I mean, it's not hard at all. You just got to do it. I mean, you just got to start it. Once you start it, you'll be good. All right, hopefully I explained that right there good enough. That's the way I got started out with my worm bed. That's exactly what I did. Exactly what I told you. That's exactly how I got started off. And now it's established and it worked for me. And hopefully it'll work for you. With the compost, that's pretty much what I do, man. I take grass clippings and pine straw and whatever else I have. It doesn't mean well pine straw leaves, whatever else I have. I just throw it in there. Sometimes I don't even layer it. But when you're getting started, you know what I'm saying, that's what you want to do. You kind of want to layer it because when I start all over again, that's what I do is I'll put like greens down and then the browns, which is something that's dead, and green is something that's already been living with like grass clippings, and that's what I do. You know what I mean? And then once it starts going, I'll just take everything and just throw it in there and just keep throwing it in there and keep throwing it. I'll pile it up real high, and then eventually it'll just drop down, and then you gotta turn it, and then eventually the process will start going. But it always takes a minute when you first start out. It does, like I said, it doesn't matter what you do. When you first start out something, it's always gonna be kind of slow. But then after a while, you'll start seeing, you know what I'm saying, you'll start seeing progress of everything. So hopefully that helped you out, man. The person that asked me, and hopefully this right here helped out anybody else that wanted to start. And I guess if you got any more comments or questions about it, leave it down in the comment, and I'll try to answer it the best of my knowledge and the best way I can. If I didn't explain something that you didn't understand, so just leave it down in the comment, and I'll get back with you. And I appreciate everybody that watched the video right here. And hopefully it'll help you get started out with making your worm bed for fishing worms. And you can compost things, and you can throw worms down in there too, and they'll stay there. They won't leave. You know what I mean? As long as you got food in there, they will not leave. If it dries out, if it starts rotting and it's real bad, or or if you just ain't got food in there, or it just ain't the right thing, you will know it because worms will try to leave, and then you're gonna have to adjust it by what the worms are doing. If you see them coming out the ground, you done did something wrong. But as long as it ain't rotting and you got well ventilated in there and it's not soaking wet and it's just moisture in there, you're good. So, like I said, hopefully that help you out, man, and help out anybody else. And I appreciate y'all watching the video.